Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of Feed the Beast. I had recorded an episode where I revamped the biofuel production, and then I got a couple of comments on the last video about showing the whole system, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scrap the other video. I'm going to show you how I have changed it, and hopefully I think it's going to do a lot better. I mean, I'm already full, and I should stay full. I don't have to flip the lever on the holding tank or anything, and I can put some stuff above it if I want. Before we do that, though, Sam has given me a link to the world download, and I put it in the last video. I'll put it in this one too. So take a look at my coordinates. Minus 346, minus 950. That's my base. If you want to see Sam's base, we'll warp over there. These are the coordinates of his base, plus 347, minus 1204. He's done a lot of cool stuff with applied energistics, and I haven't shown it yet because I'm not supposed to. I told him I wouldn't. So there's that, and now we can get to the real part of the episode. We did have a crash the other day. It happened when I was doing something in the Mistcraft age, and I'm not really sure what I did. It was probably just happenstance, but all of our Railcraft stuff disappeared. I had almost a full 3x3x5 tank full of bee DNA and about a half a tank of honey. So I moved the bees, and I haven't done anything with them yet. Nobody really likes the bees anyway. That's okay. But they seem to work in the biome over here that I put them in. And if I can walk out the damn door, I always have that problem. I just put them right over here, just to kind of test them out, really close to the mob grinder. But all of the ones that I have work over here. The Imperial Industrious both work over here. The Forest and Meadows do as well. The Commons, the Charmed, and these are just some more Common and Meadows. So I'm going to redo all the bee stuff here, so if you're interested in that on the next world download, just come right over here by the village, and you can check that out. I'm going to have to start re-accumulating all of the bee DNA and stuff so I can use the splicer and sequencer and all that stuff. In the other video I recorded, I remarked on how the base has taken shape. It's not really quite how I had imagined. I actually had intended on living up here and putting all the storage up here and all of that good stuff, but I have everything I need downstairs, so really the only thing I put up here is the tree farm, and I really don't come up here that often. So let's start with this. Excuse me. The thing is actually killing it right now. A killer right now. Just disable it. I just have the regular, what's it called? The coal engine or whatever that also burns wood. And obviously we're putting saplings, and I have two side chests on it. And I actually copied Sam's design for the cargo manager. And basically, since the green side, you can't see it because the thing is in the way. We'll just turn this back on. We'll get it out of the way. I have the advanced detector rail, and this thing has sides, and you can actually change what side. If you click on this thing, it'll let you change the color. But I wanted all the things to happen on the green side. So basically, what I have it set to do is it takes everything out of the storage slot from the green side, and it brings it into the cargo manager. And then this gives the max amount of fuel to the engine, and this gives the max amount of saplings to the sapling slot on the cart. So this is going to run a while before you accumulate an excess of wood and saplings, and then when it has excess, then it goes to the red side, which has my autarkic gate, wooden pipe, and transport pipe. So that's how the cargo manager is set. If you have this thing running on two sides, what you could do is you could use this side to take everything out. And then if you wanted to, you could use, say, the blue side to give it all the coal. I mean, you can configure it differently, but it's easier for me just to do it all on one side for input, and then to put the coal and stuff back into the cart. And then all of the excess goes out the red side. And this is a fairly large tree farm. It probably takes up a couple of chunks. And where my chunk loader is situated, initially the cart was running outside the boundaries. I think it was running out to here. It was running outside the boundaries of the loaded chunks, so it wasn't actually working while I was offline. So keep that in mind too. You can build it in one chunk or two chunks. You can use a chunk loader, two chunk loaders, or spot loaders rather, whatever you want. But the important thing is to make sure that it's loaded while you're offline if you're playing on a server, if the server doesn't have rules against that. I also made sure to leave 2 spaces in between all the tracks. If you only leave 1 space, it can only plant trees right here, and it puts 1 space in between them. So if you leave 2 spaces in between all the tracks, you'll have much more saplings that the thing can plant. And this thing has been running for a while, and I've been doing the biofuel for a while, and I have so much excess, even with that other boiler running. I set up the fabricator to turn all the logs into planks. Even with the high pressure boiler running, I still have 974,000 planks, and that's probably an increase of about 150,000 over the last probably 3 or 4 days. So that's why I wanted to do a low pressure boiler in addition, because we have plenty of planks. So now to what I did yesterday, and I'll show this to you, and then if we have time, I guess I don't have to take all those down. If we have time, we'll set up the boiler, because I want to do that anyway. And it's basically the same principle as this. So over here, I hooked these guys into the water tank that's below the biofuel tank, and I hooked them into the biofuel tank. I have 10 engines right here, and I did my trusty old setup. Hopefully I could do this without knocking anything down. I have 1 energy cell here, and I have a latch and 2 gates. This gate gives a redstone signal when the energy cell is empty, so that it trips the latch and turns the engines on, and then when it's full, this one sends a redstone signal to turn the latch off. So if I had a redstone torch, I could put one right here, it would trip the latch, and it wouldn't turn back on until the thing is empty. So rather than letting engines run all the time unnecessarily, they actually only run when there's work to do. So there's another energy cell over here. It's connected to that one. You can see it through the little hole in the wall there. There's the other one. I have made 4 more stills and 1 more fermenter, and I had to run my conduit under the ground because I had to put redstone to extract biofuel from this side. So how this works is I thought about using sensors, liquid sensors on the tank to turn this energy cell on when the liquid got to like the 2nd block down, and then turn it off when it got full. But the method I'm trying right now, basically these machines will only do work if there's actually work to do. So right now they're full of biofuel, so they're not going to actually do anything. You see nothing's happening here, so they shouldn't really be drawing any energy. These guys are drawing all the energy right now, and I read that they'll take 17 MJ per tick if you give it to them. I actually thought about putting another energy cell down here just to limit the amount that these guys get, but I'm not really worried about it. So when these guys fill up with biofuel, this thing will fill up with biomass, and at that point, once this is full, these guys will only work until the liquid ducts fill up, and then their internal tanks fill up, and then they won't be able to do anything. So in theory, the fact that I'm using these engines right now, I should not be using more than I'm producing, and I haven't run the numbers. This is just what I'm going off of. I'm just doing trial and error. Yesterday this thing was not full when I logged off, and today it is. And I'm still actually, using a little bit of it, but it is generating more than it consumes while the engines are on. And so basically I'm just waiting for the internal buffer of the biomass to fill up over here, and then everything should stop once this buffer fills up. I want to use the squeezer eventually because we have a ton of apples. I had to move the saplings down here, and this one is apples, I think. Yep. If you can see, we have about 18,000 of them, plus whatever's in the barrels, and 110,000 saplings. So I put a storage bus on this sapling deep storage unit, so the applied energistic system sees all of it. And then on each one of these guys, I put one export bus. And from the testing I did, it doesn't matter what side of the machine I put the export bus on. It always put everything into the correct slot. The one thing you have to be aware of is if you put saplings in the fertilizer and switch them around, the export bus, from what I can tell, it goes on a priority from left to right and then left to right. So I wanted to fill up with fertilizer first because it uses the fertilizer more slowly than it uses the saplings. It burns through the saplings, every few seconds. So if you're filling saplings, if you give them the priority over the fertilizer, it'll fill the sapling slot, and every time a sapling leaves, it'll fill it up, and this thing won't actually get full, or it'll take it a while because it'll be focusing on the saplings before it does the fertilizer. So this is how I have that set up. And I actually do have a fertilizer recipe in my AE system. So if I run out of it, the system will actually craft it with 2 sand and 1 apatite. If it doesn't have the sand, it knows to send cobblestone to the pulverizer downstairs. So as long as I have cobblestone or sand in my system and apatite, I never have to worry about that thing running out. I have plenty of apatite. Alternately, I could use, compost? Is that what we were using? Yeah, compost. If I put the compost recipe in there, or a bunch of compost, I could put it in here, and if the system ever runs out of fertilizer, then it'll put compost. You could also put reeds or whatever else you can use in the fermenter, and it will use that after all the saplings run out. Or if you prefer. So you see now, I'm not sure if this is going to make an excess or not, because I think it gets to about that level before it stops. So eventually this will fill up, and then the whole system will back up. I could have used biomass engines on that energy cell, and I might do that just as a test in the future, but this seems to be working okay for now. And I always have a full tank of biofuel, and even if those engines run all the time, they're green. If you look at them, they're full of water. They're not overheating. They've been running for a while. I have plenty of Zycraft water blocks on the tank over there, so it's not really an issue for me. As long as this tank always stays full, these engines can run 24/7. I don't really care. So that's how I've done that. If you don't use AE, what you're going to have to do is feed your fertilizer in through the bottom, and whatever you're going to turn into biomass into the top. So this is the top slot, that's the bottom slot. Fertilizer, compost, mulch, whatever goes in the bottom. Saplings, reeds, whatever else, plant balls go in the top. And then you can hook up your power and water and biomass output to any of the sides. I just so happen to get lucky. The AE programmer is awesome, and it puts the thing right where it needs to go without giving me any grief. So that's totally cool with me. So there's the new system. The old system, you know, I had a barrel, and hopefully that's not what you wanted to see. Basically what I had was a pipe on the top with a gate that said when there is room for inventory, send a red pipe signal. And then I had another iron ore gate up here saying energy pulsar when you get the red pipe signal to send the saplings down. And the same kind of a situation for the fertilizer, but Applied Energistics does it all automatically and nothing will overflow. So I'm much happier with this. So there's that. That's the new, improved, well, maybe improved biofuel system. It's less user interface, no muss, no fuss. I turned off the recyclers, so we should have, yeah, we have a ton of cobble, 10,000 cobble. We could have a little more dirt, but I'm not really worried about it because I'll just run another quarry and save some of it. I'm trying to keep this disc full of logs and planks because I have one in a drive over there and I don't want it to start overflowing onto the other discs. So let me see what I'm looking at time-wise here. That's already 17 minutes. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me make all the boiler pieces. I'm just going to have to make some iron plates. And I get one, I'm going to need 36 of these, so I'm going to need 72 of these guys. And I think it's 4 iron per plate in the rolling machine. I'm going to need to make a solid fueled firebox. And I'll go ahead and make all the stuff, and then I'll come back, and then we'll go set the thing up with an aqueous accumulator and an export bus to fire the planks into it. So give me just a minute to get that set up, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. I didn't tear this one down yet because I wanted to show you how I did this and how I'm going to set them up together. Hopefully I have everything that we're going to need. Basically, the information I read on this is that each liquiduct will take 80 steam from the tank, and the steam consumer will take 160 on each side. So I have a 160 on these sides, whatever 4 times 160 is, 640, is that right? And then plus the 80 from that one liquiduct in the center makes it 720, which is what this thing gives. The other low P, the low pressure boiler gives half the steam of this one, which is, what is it, 360? So I could effectively do this with half the liquiducts coming out of here. So how I want to do this is I want to take off this consumer. Basically, I want to share an energy bridge between the two tanks, if that makes any sense. So I have to take all these down, and I have to build it from this side to make sure I get everything in the correct pattern. So I think how I'll do this is I'll take my liquiducts, and I'm going to have to put, let's put 9 right there. That one is going to be where one of the steam consumers goes. So I'm going to need a liquiduct here, here, here. Basically on all sides, honestly, if you want to get technical about it. And I want to join those. And then what I want to do is also join these so that this one is taking 80 and that one's taking 80, but the liqueduct itself will hold the whole 160. So I want to join those and join those. And then I have one more to join right there. So then we're going to put the energy bridge right in the middle so that basically both steam consumers are connected to the same energy bridge. And it doesn't look like I cleared out quite enough space. I'm going to need one space and then 3 more, or 2 more really, for the boiler. So we'll just go ahead and clear this out. I saw some comments about my drill being slow. The jackhammer is much faster. This was a gift. I hadn't gotten to the point where I was ready to make a drill yet, but Sam was nice enough to make me a drill. And this awesome advanced electric jetpack, which I put thorns on, so I can fly with it and it'll recharge my diamond drill. I got some boots. These have these 2 enchants, and then I got another one on another set of boots with these 2 plus repair 2. So as soon as these are gone, I can wear the other boots and they should never wear out. Never wear out, excuse me. So let's go ahead and put that one back. And we'll go ahead and run our liqueducts on this side, I guess. Or at least just the one. I don't want to run all of them because they'll join. So I will put the firebox in the floor. And this is going to be the max size. So we'll just go ahead and make it 4 tall. Doesn't really matter what order you put the blocks in. I'd recommend not hooking up your water until it's done though, because it starts over, I believe, every time you add blocks to make it taller. So there we go, steam boiler. And since we have a little bit of room, let's just put our aqueous accumulator right here. And actually, there's a Zycraft water tank. If I'd known it was that close, I probably would have used it. But I was not aware of that when I actually put the thing down. So we'll put that guy there, and we'll put a water bucket on each side. And then 1 liqueduct. And it should start pumping water in immediately. It is. It looks pretty slow, but it works. And I have a few extra tank pieces, not really that big of a deal. So you can see we're not getting steam from either side because there's nothing to take the power. All I have to do now is take an ME cable and 1 export bus and put it on this firebox and tell it to give it planks. So if we come up here, I should have a bunch of export buses just chilling. Some on the floor as well. And what else do we need? We need ME cable. This ought to be plenty. So I've got my other one right here. So we'll just we'll split it off and run it up over the aqueous accumulator, if I can place my cable correctly. Apparently it's easier said than done. And let's go ahead and put the export bus on this. It has to go into the firebox, and you have to take the steam out of the top. Alright, there we go. So nothing is happening with that. Hopefully I can still click on that. Yep, I can. We're going to wait until the water is a little higher before we start heating the thing up. So Unfortunately, since there's no steam coming out yet, we're not really going to get a lot out of this, and they'll probably join each other. Yeah, they will. So I may have to hook that up in another minute when we start getting steam. And I just looked at my time there. I'm 37 minutes right now, so hopefully I'm not running long on this one. But so we're going to get wood in here. You want to make sure that you put this on stacks so that it goes, and we're already heating up, but we're not going to have any steam for a while. So basically I'll hook up the liquiducts to this one probably in a similar configuration to this, or maybe only half, since we're not going to need all of them. I was hoping to get a little bit of steam. So then we will take our HV producer, and let's see, let's put the thing on the top. Why not? Put it right on top of the energy bridge. We'll take away our fiber cable, and while I'm thinking about it, I have disconnected those from lava, so all of our matter fab power is coming from solars right now and the steam thing. Looks like I have plenty of these, so we will just run it out of the side, and let's run it straight down right here. It's going to connect to the geothermal, but that's no problem. It's not going to hurt anything, and I'll probably move them shortly anyway, so then it won't be connected. So now if we look, we're intermittently getting 512 EU from this thing because 720 steam is not quite enough to run an HV on full power. And as soon as we have steam, I'll hook this one up, and then that'll be good. It should be enough to run that thing HV all the way. So I think what I may do is I'll just hang out for a minute. Hopefully we'll get some steam, and then I can hook it up, and then we'll finish off the episode. So I'll see you when this thing finally has some steam. Okay guys, we have steam. Look at this. So I've got steam coming out of the pipe here. It's not that much. It's only 80. But that'll let us do what we need to do with the other liquiducts. Of course, I threw them in the thing over here. And I grabbed my EU reader. I'm actually going to take that one down since it's fairly useless. And I'm just going to put one on each side of this, since we really only need 4 on this one. Hard to place them sometimes. There we go. Oh man, I did it again. I always do that. And now look at this. 320. I may need to add that one in the middle after all, which is fine. There we go, 400. So maybe I am getting a little more than I thought. I may throw a couple on here just to test. But we're getting a solid 512 out. I got my handy little EU reader. I just slept. So from the solars, we're getting 896 at the present time. And from those guys, we're getting 512, which we know. For a total of 1408, which isn't bad at all. So just for the fun of it, I know I'm kind of probably running long. I just want to see. That's 400. For some reason, I'm only now getting 656 on the south side, which is that side. Oh, I know why. See how that went up and this went down? I'm going to have to throw a couple of MV producers because the thing will only take as much steam as it can to output. So I'm going to add another producer on here, and I think we can do that right now. And now we don't have enough steam. So maybe those things output more than I thought they do, which is totally fine with me. See, that one's at the 560, but it's consistent. So I'm going to call that a win, and I'm going to leave it exactly how it is. I may throw the other two liquiducts on there just for the hell of it. But there's the basic setup. I read something about the Mine Factory Reloaded biofuel thing. So that tree farm may go away at some point, but that's not probably going to be until, I think, the next version. So I want to cut this off right now. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.